Not only farmers should be disgusted and absolutely embarrassed by this current administration, everybody in the world should be embarrassed by what is going on right now. Guys, this single loaf of splorn right here could feed one household for a month. Look at all these splorn bales. But the United States Department of Agriculture is making me destroy this splorn crop because it is unmarketable, because China will not buy our splorn to process it into food. And so the United States government is giving me a grant to destroy these bales. Now, where's my morality? I should not accept the money, and I should donate these bales to the hungry and needy. But here's the thing. I signed life away with the Department of Agriculture, and I am legally bound to destroy these bales in order to receive my $896,000 check for this splorn crop that I cannot market because China refuses to buy our splorn. What the America? We're just absolutely as farmers, guys. Everything is so. I do not see anybody surviving this farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best splorn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariffs, China will not buy it. And they are the only country in the world other than, well, they are the only country in the world that buys splorn. And so now I'm literally just chopping it and blowing it on the fucking ground because it's useless. It's valueless. There's nothing I can do to it. I am going to need government assistance to make it through the crisis until these tariffs end. Look, I've never raised a splorn crop like this, guys. And this is heartbreaking to me. I don't know how I'm going to survive. You know, fucking loved us farmers, and here I am just blowing my splorn crop all over the ground. Hopefully he works a deal out where Antarctica and Mars will start buying this splorn and save the farmers. I'm sorry, splorn crop, but you're...
Hey there, mega regret. It is really, really happening. And I grew up in rural Iowa, just 1 hour away from Omaha, Nebraska. Both of my children live in Nebraska. Most of my family are in Nebraska right now. And so this is a really big deal for me. But you guys voted for this. And I don't want to go through the whole thing that everybody else is doing. What I want to talk about is decency. So when I grew up, and probably the same thing for boomers, if you broke something, you made up for it. So say you go borrow your neighbor's ladder and it breaks. You go buy them a new ladder, your wife bakes them a cake or a pie, and you express your sorry several times, and you feel bad. So now your vote, because you did not pay attention the last time or read Project 2025 or anything to point you in the right direction and show you what exactly was going to happen, this is the vote that you made. And so I see many of you coming on here crying fake little tears, but I have zero sympathy for you, because what are you actually doing now? Are you protesting in any way? What are you doing besides trying to get other people to feel bad for you? It's going to require action, and it's going to require you to really go out and mobilize and make a difference now, because you are the one who did the thing. It was you. You made the vote. It's affecting you now, just like it affects the rest of us. So what are you going to do? I'm really anxious to hear what you're going to do to make up for it. We are not the ones that did this. So again, how are you going to make it right? The people in the Midwest are it's very, very important to make up for your wrong. So what are you doing to make up for your wrong? Write it down. What action, what mobilization are you doing? This is really the only answer now. I don't want to hear any more tears or any more bullshit. What are you doing? Thank you.
News out of Texas. And if this is happening in Texas, this is happening elsewhere. I'll put the link to the article in the description. Multiple farms are shutting down due to lack of workers because the entire workforce has basically fled and is in hiding and not showing up for work. crops are being left to die in the Texas heat. Livestock is being untended to, unwatered, and unfed. There's just no one to do the work. So this is going to lead to potential food shortages, because I'm sure this is happening across the country. Most farm workers are questionably documented. No one else is willing to do the work. This is going to lead to shortages, and inflation is going to go back up as we're going to have to import food from outside.
Alright, welcome back again to the Black Empire. I am Atamba Haiti. You know, things have been happening recently, and we've been looking into the black people. You know, how the white people have really wanted the black people to be or to come back and continue doing what they've been doing into their farms. Now, white people made a mistake when they voted Trump into the government, despite black people saying, you people, you're about to make a very big mistake by voting Trump into the government. People have been asking themselves, how does black people know things even before they happen? You know, that they can be able to foretell that things, whatever is about to happen isn't good. It was a warning that was given out to white people. They were told, the mistake you want to do, you shouldn't do it, because at the end of the day, you'll regret. You know, white people, I think, they've learned a lesson. They went ahead, they voted Trump into the government, and Trump has been messing up with their lives. Look at the economy, look at everything round. Now, the Nebraska farmers, they are complaining so much. Why are they complaining? They are complaining because nothing is working out. Nothing is working out. They've been trying all the best possible, the best ways possible to make sure they can be able to work things out. But however, how much they try, it's difficult. It's not working out anyhow. They've tried their best. They're trying to look for help from every single place where they can be able to find help, but they're not getting the help they're looking for. Tell me, do they have an option, or their option is black people? When Trump came into the government, he forgot about the work and the effort of the black people. He forgot about how white people, black people have been working, and how black people have been helping America, the white America at large. And what he did, he came up with rules and with intentions to deport all the black people or the immigrants. Many of the immigrants were the black people. So he realized that many people who worked for the white farmers were taken out of America. Yeah, and right now the white people in America, they don't have labor. They can't get that labor. Now their farms are being destroyed. Their crops are being destroyed. Nothing is coming out, and they feel like we need to be helped. So how are they going to get the help? You know, tell me what you think about it on the comment section, okay? And then I will do my best to make sure I read all of them and give a response where possible. I am Atamba Haiti. Now, I'm going to ask you to subscribe this channel if you're watching me for the first time. And for the 10 subscribers, I really do appreciate you so much. Now, let's take a look at these videos.
Hey, Nebraska, is this you? Come on up to the front of the classroom. I have some information for you.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So I know that when you elected Donald Trump, you decided to put all of your apprehensions aside and elect a person who was clear about his intentions. He was going to get rid of undocumented immigrants, which would cause your primary industry, the agriculture industry, to go down. Then he decided to do away with the farm subsidies, basically welfare, that would just annihilate farmers in Nebraska. But wait, there's more. Those two things are just the tip of the iceberg. I was told from a well-placed source that you guys are considering bankruptcy in the not too distant future. They said 6 months or so. So if you combine all of that bad news with these people deciding to vote against you who desperately need health care, they are and will and have voted for a framework of a budget that would basically annihilate Medicaid in your state. Let me give you a secret. I don't know if you know this, but over 341,000 residents in Nebraska are on Medicaid. That represents $3.7 billion of revenue, of money, of spending that goes to the state of Nebraska for healthcare. And this is not just healthcare, just ad nauseum. This is healthcare that goes to take care of patients and then also goes to fund hospitals in a rural state, hospitals that are desperately needed. Now, this is the kicker. Of that $3 billion or so that goes into the state, the federal government picks up 69%. In essence, only 30% of that money you have to contribute. But the problem is, since you're going bankrupt and all, you're not going to be able to contribute that. You have come into the zone of FAFO. Unfortunately, that map, this map, is going to be your downfall.
So as a Nebraskan, the farmers predominantly voted for the current president. They also voted for Pete Ricketts and Deb Fischer, who aren't doing anything for them. And China announced that they're not going to buy corn and soybeans today, or I think they've done it over the last couple days. I think it was last week, because of the trade war their current president that they voted for decided to wage, a trade war with China. They're not going to buy your goods. And I know that a lot of you have said that you want aid. Well, as a taxpayer who lives in Nebraska, who did vote for the right candidate, I don't think I want my tax dollars going to bail you out. I think you actually should sit in your decisions and feel the effects. You want us to. Every time we vote for a Democrat, and you say they're horrible. So at this point in time, I'm going to tell you the same thing you say to me back. You wanted to vote for this. Now you get to deal with the consequences. And I don't think I should have to bail you out, because I work hard for my money too, and my dollars shouldn't bail out your bad decisions. So yeah, today I'm telling you, the farmers here in Nebraska, you need to deal with your own decisions. It's your consequences, not mine, and I don't want to pay for them.
Nebraska's biggest part of their economy at GDP is farming.
Right.
And they said 45 to 65% of the workforce is undocumented.
45 to 65%?
Yes. So
Oh, shit.
with Trump rounding up illegals, what have those illegal immigrants done? They jump ship. They don't want to get raided while they're working.
No,
They don't want they don't want to get families broken up. So now, so they predicted that Nebraska is 2/4 away from being bankrupt. The whole state, because there's no workers. Half of their workforce is undocumented immigrants. So now Nebraska is in a panic, is in an uproar. And most of them, farmers are Trump supporters. They got exactly what they voted for. If all these illegals were taking your jobs, why don't you go fill and do the shitty jobs they were doing for less than minimum wage? If these illegal immigrants were taking your jobs, there's all these jobs available. You can do it. To work slave hours at slave wages, you can do it. They literally bit their nose and spite their face. Like, they directly voted to deport the illegals, and now the illegals, they didn't even wait for deportation. They working somewhere else. I hope they don't want any government handouts, because that's socialism. They hate socialism. Hope they don't want any government handouts. Put yourselves up by your bootstraps. What's going to end up happening is these corporations are going to come buy your farm, and you going to work that farm. And you're going to be working for the corporations. They're going to buy it for pennies on a dollar, and you're going to be working your farm, and you're not going to own it no more.
Nobody feels safe when they hear the word ICE, even the documented people.
In the vast agricultural lands north of Los Angeles, California, fruits and vegetables are rotting at peak harvest time due to a sharp reduction in workforce. Farmers, field supervisors, and workers told Reuters that President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown, specifically raids by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, are frightening laborers, causing most of them to stop showing up. Some workers Reuters spoke to withheld their identities. One worker said, well, one gets up in the morning and you get up with fear because many of us can leave our house. and we probably won't come back.
Probablemente no regresamos.
Greg Tesh is a farmer in Bakersfield.
We need the labor when we need the labor, or else we'll miss things. We'll fall behind. And the investment's already put in months, sometimes years ago.
Over a third of U.S. vegetables and over 3/4 of the country's fruits and nuts are grown in California, according to the California Department of Food and Agriculture. The state's farms and ranches generated nearly $60 billion in agricultural sales in 2023. Republican Douglas Holtz-Eakin, the former director of the Congressional Budget Office, said an estimated 80% of farm workers in the U.S. were foreign-born, with nearly half of them in the country without documentation. Losing them will cause price hikes for consumers, he said. Studies show that native-born workers tend not to fill the void left by immigrant workers who have moved on. Farm workers like Giovanni Lopez have noticed the trend.
The majority of Mexicans will work anywhere, and there are a lot of them. And the gringos said it's that they hardly work in construction, let alone in the fields. But Mexicans do work everywhere.
Trump conceded in a June 12th post on Truth Social that ICE raids on farm and hotel workers were, quote, taking very good long-time workers away from those sectors, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace, and adding, quote, changes are coming.
What is going on with the farming industry in Texas? In the last 12 months, there's been 4 major incidences alone that have caused serious hardship for the farming industry in Texas, and I put together a little timeline so we can take a look at this. This time last year in April of 2023, over 18,000 cows were killed from a dairy farm explosion in Dimmitt, Texas. In January of this year, a large explosion with a significant fire erupted at Feathercrest Farm chicken plant in Bryan, Texas. Just a couple months ago, in February of 2024, Smokehouse Creek Fire, the largest wildfire to ever burn across Texas, spreading across nearly 1.1 million acres, destroyed tons of farming. And just last month, in March of 2024, the largest U.S. fresh egg producer halts production at Texas plant after the bird flu was found in chickens. About 1.6 million laying hens and 333,000 pullets were culled. This doesn't even mention some of the very weird incidences that have happened with cows and poultry in Texas going back to 2020. But as always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
Miren mi gente, esto está pasando aquí en Florida. Son cientos de acres de cultivo que se echaron a perder. Son demasiados que realmente no puedo caminar todo eso porque es mucho. Y
miles y miles y miles de toneladas. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Porque este cabrón acaba de firmar la pinche ley esa de Florida. Aquí en Florida ya nadie quiere trabajar. Toda la uva ya echada a perder. Ya no hay inmigrantes aquí. Ahora no sé qué vamos a hacer. Miren. Miren nada más. Toda la uva se está pudriendo. Prefieren que pase todo esto a que pase una ley migratoria, que todos estemos felices y con...
This is breaking news. Texas farmers are sounding the alarm on this tariff war. And in more breaking news, nobody cares. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me or maybe it's some of you too, but as far as farmers sounding the alarm, I don't care. I have to admit, I don't care at all. Because the last time Donald Trump was president, 100,000 farmers across the country lost their farms. Yeah. So, overwhelmingly, farmers voted for this man again, knowing full well of his history the last time he was president. So, from me to you, farmers, I don't care. I don't care how bad things get for you. I don't care if you lose your farm. I don't care if you... I don't care. At least I don't care to hear about it. I really don't. Because this is exactly what you voted for. And you're going to get what you voted for. You're going to get 4 more years of Donald Trump not giving a damn about farmers whatsoever. So, enjoy.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms. It's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients. And I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening with the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvests, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H-2A workers who are going to have layoffs. This is all under Republican leadership, not just from the White House, but from the Republicans that were elected in the state of Texas. And if you think this is going to stop at Texas, you've got another thing coming. And you want to know which farms are going to be impacted further down the road? They're going to be safe for now. There's a small percentage of farmers who are actually Democrats. And they understand how important it is to protect their employees, take care of their employees. Those employees who feel safe will keep showing up for work because they know the owners have their backs, which says something about these other farms where the employees are like, I'm too scared to show up. Let me add this final thing. This is going to impact farmers. They're at risk of going out of business. Who's going to jump in? The federal government, to compensate them with our tax dollars. So now our tax dollars is going to be used to cover the bullshit leadership of this administration on top of the overwhelming increasing tax dollars being used by this administration to scare, to deport, to imprison people with brown skin. Like, our tax dollars are not helping everyday Americans at all. And this is just the beginning under Republican leadership. Share this video.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Our state has, in fact, gone bankrupt. Due to his tariffs and the loss of all of our migrant farm workers, our state has lost over $500 million. It's so bad that Governor Pillen had to call and ask him for a bailout, and we don't know if he's going to give it to us. My husband and I did used to own a farm here in Nebraska, and thanks to the loss of all the workers, we went bankrupt, and bankruptcies in our state overall are at a record high right now. It's still just so weird to me because we all voted red. Nebraska, every county, every district overwhelmingly voted red, and that seems to have been the reason that we're all out of business now. And that just doesn't make that much sense to me. If you vote for a party, shouldn't they protect you? Shouldn't they pass policies that will help you stay out of bankruptcy? And it's not just the farms, but the whole state is going under because we voted red. When you're a farming family like mine, I can see now that it is important to think before you vote.
I have a question for the rest of America. Does anyone even care about Nebraska? Does anyone even care?
So this morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of people crying, why does anybody care about Nebraska? When we voted for Kamala Harris, when I cast my vote for Harris, that was me saying, I care about you and I want you to survive and thrive. Okay, you knew better than anybody else that your state thrives and survives off of migrants' backs. Okay, and instead of them waiting for ICE to come, they decided to peace out before they could come and get them. I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, this is exactly what you voted for. And now you're feeling it. What do you want us to do? You want a government handout? That's socialism. You voted against that. No. Sadly, the reality is that you'll probably have to sell a lot of your farms for pennies on the dollar to large corporations and manufacturers. But don't worry, they'll probably let you work there for a minimum wage.
I hear Nebraska's not too happy, and that a lot of them are facing bankruptcy after they can't find people to work. A lot of people aren't coming to work right now, worried that they're going to get picked up by ICE. And there was even one family that said they had a 300-year-old ranch that they may lose. And I said, 300 years old ranch? That had been 1725. I wonder what the Native Americans thought about that one. But I don't know, Nebraska. Maybe they'll give you some of the money from Illinois that he kept. I'm not sure. Y'all voted for him. So maybe he'll give you all that money. All right, Nebraska, I hope things work out for you, and I hope your state don't go bankrupt. I hope not. Or get out there and get working. Hire, the unemployment office, though. That's where you go if people need jobs. Just go to the unemployment office and tell them you're looking for workers. And I'm sure they'd be able to get something figured out for you over there. But, yeah, good luck, Nebraska. I hope everyone does well. Bye.
I'm seeing a lot of hate towards these Nebraskan farmers, and I would love to hate on them. But we have to root for them, because if these small farms go out of business, who's going to buy up these small farms? It's going to be the corporations. And we're going to be even more fucked than we are now. They're just going to be able to rule everything, price gouge us on everything. So, as much as I don't want to be supportive, we kind of have to support them and, do anything we can to help them out, even though they voted for the wrong person.
Now, life in America is not very easy. Life in America is becoming difficult every single day. It's becoming hard every single day, for the white Americans especially, because the black people in America, they've lived under the problems under struggles for a very long time. They've lived under, struggling and going through difficult times and difficult moments for a very long time. Okay? And in America, the black people have developed what we call the black resilience. The black resilience gives the black Americans the power to sustain things, the power to live better, the power to live or to come back or to come out strong every single day. And the white people do not have that black resilience. They don't have that black power or the adaptability, the black adaptability to be able to adapt things, to be able to do things to struggle and to survive or to maneuver in a difficult time and difficult moment. They don't have that. And because they don't really have that, that is why the white people have really, whenever something small comes out, they cry so much, they complain so much, and they wonder, why is it that black people are not complaining, black people are not struggling, black people are not crying? Not because that black people are better but it's because just black people have been taught to live in a certain way. They've been taught to survive in a certain way. That is why black people cannot be able to go through that, or they cannot be able to experience that. Blacks have lived under a very difficult life. And through that difficult moment, through that difficult life, black people taught themselves, or they were taught, or they developed what we call the black resilience, which is helping them to survive even in difficult moments. No? Now, that aside, white people, on the other hand, black people came out, they told them, what you're doing is not very correct. It's not really good. You have to stop it, you have to change your minds, and you have to do a different thing. But white people did not listen to that. They looked at black people, they were like, you are people who cannot tell us anything, because at the end of the day, your views do not matter, your perspective do not matter. You are black, we are white. Blacks cannot tell us anything. Right now, white Americans are suffering because they voted Trump into the government. Trump has really tampered with their life. Trump has really destroyed everything with them. He has destroyed them, in terms of, there is nothing that is going on. Those who are big business people, they are struggling and suffering because of Trump. And many other things are happening right now in the United States of America. And every white American, they are feeling like, especially those who supported Trump, the MAGAs, they are feeling like we made a very big mistake by voting Trump into the government. We made a very big mistake by allowing this man into power, because what we thought he's gonna do is not exactly what he's doing today. Nebraska farmers are crying, they are complaining. Look at our crops in the farms. Look at our at the cost of things. Look at how labor is going high, because now we don't have black people to work in our lands. We don't have things to do. Everything is going bad. The government itself is not providing solutions for the mistakes they did, or for the problems arising, for the matters arising. The government is quiet. The government is serving the rich. So the rich are being served by the government. The poor are not being, they are finding it difficult. So the government is for the rich to be more richer, and the poor to be more poorer. And that is what is happening right now in the United States of America. The government isn't serving the people who voted for it. The government is serving other people who are not supposed to be served, who are not supposed to be getting help from the government. Because the rich people, even if they have to get help from the government, people who are supposed to be prioritized should be the poor people, or people with low standards of living. Those are supposed to be the people who should be looked before any other person. Is the government doing that? The government is not doing that, because it is not the government of the people. It is the government of the wealthy people in America. The poor people in America, they suffer a lot. The rich people in America, they live better, and the government focuses on them. Okay? Now, this one really makes it difficult for the white Americans, especially the Nebraska farmers and many other people in America, to find it difficult to survive. Neither blacks are surviving well, or neither blacks are finding it it's favoring them. But now, when it comes to black people have created what we call a black resilience. And a black resilience is helping black people to adapt to life. It is helping black people to be able to maneuver, to find ways on how they can be able to survive in matters that are rising and in difficult times and in problems. And that is why they can be able to stand better. They can be able to live better. Whites, on the other hand, are asking themselves, what is happening? Why are blacks not complaining? What is really going on? But at the end of the day, blacks aren't suffering because blacks have been going through this kind of situation and this kind of problems for a very long time, So I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know what Trump is going to do when people are complaining like this. I don't know what you think about this. Let me know about your thoughts on the comment section. I will gladly read all of them and give a response where possible. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Put the notification bell, be the first person to get every episode as it comes in. Welcome back again to the Black Empire, and thank you for watching.